This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, the next day, you're at the Richmond Coliseum during a hailstorm, my friend. 7,000 fans watched as you, Tully, and Barry fought Dusty, Luger, and Nikita to a no contest. It didn't matter. Rain, storm, snow. You guys were doing your thing, man.
That's a damn good crowd, too.
Yeah, 7,000 for a hailstorm.
Yeah, you know, hailstorms scare most people to death. Nobody would leave home. I would suggest that probably hurt your walk-up immensely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That could have been a 9,000, attendance. Who knows?
In the Omni on the 22nd, as advertised, Dusty, Luger, and Sting with Magnum TA in their corner fought Barry, Tully, and you to a double countout, 17 minutes, 42 seconds. The entire population of Hillsville, Virginia, all 800 of them, saw you and Tully lose to Luger and Nikita on May 24th in the semi-main event. And then on May 28th, it was TV day in Atlanta, and on the program, you defeated Keith Steinborn in an underneath match. You weren't done, buddy, because that's just not how this rolls, because later that night, you're in Charleston, West Virginia. 2,500 people watched you defeat the Italian Stallion, and then the next day, you're in Greensboro, and you also worked with the Italian Stallion that day in front of another 4,000 people. So you worked with the Italian Stallion twice in the same weekend and several other times during the month. Clearly, there's faith in both of you to put on a good match in front of the Greensboro crowd. So, I mean, you had to enjoy working with the Italian Stallion here. You guys were putting on some good matches. They had faith in you here.
Well, without taking it the wrong way, I was at a point that it wasn't about the Stallion, it was about me. You get over to a point to where you can book yourself down the card. You can be in the first match or the second match. You're still one of the horsemen. You're still one of the top guys. And it just gives you a chance to go down and have a semi-competitive match with a guy and help him and reach down and pull him up a notch or two.
And you guys always did that so well. You would end the month with a TV taping in Savannah on May 30th. And on that show, you and Tully defeated David Isley and Larry Stevens. NWA Pro and the main event were taped on the 31st. And we're going to look at those tapings next month, as they didn't air until June. But Arn, that's going to wrap up our coverage for May 1988. Amazing effort by Jim Crockett to make Barry such a kick-ass, believable heel here. And he fit right into the Horseman with his in-ring work and promo skills. But I'm not letting you get out of here without this. We have fun. We've had some fun here talking about your favorite two incarnations of the Horseman, and a lot of people argue about it. So the first is with Ole, and the second is with Barry. So I want to ask you, I want to put you on the spot. Give us 2 or 3 things that made the grouping special. One with Ole, 2 or 3 things that made it special with Ole, and then 2 or 3 things that made it special with Barry.
It was the first with Ole.
Okay.
And it's hard when you have something that really clicks and it's the first and it's the originals, like a rock and roll band. You lose your lead guitar player, you lose your front man, you're screwed a lot of times. You never reach that magic that you once had. It was at a point where Jim Crockett was ready for an influx of new talent. And, the same day I started, which was March the 5th, I think, with Jim Crockett, you had Buddy Landell, you had myself, you had the Rock and Roll Express coming in around that time, the Midnight Express. For me to come in and get launched, and then to have shortly down the road, Ole start talking about me on TV, started the ball rolling. And me getting that rub was something special, and it was a gift in those days. Me being an Anderson, me showing up on the scene and being able to carry my own weight, even though I was still a rookie, I think made it special for that group. And we were building on that whole Horseman deal.
Sure. It was,
which came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
With Barry, it gave us the opportunity. Ole wasn't going to work every day, and he made that clear when he came back to work. Barry was. He was an everyday guy. Barry was durable. Barry was one of those guys that he could drink all night long, get 3 hours sleep, and go out and go 45 minutes. That's just who he was. He wasn't a gym guy. But like I said, I've seen him superplex Animal off the top rope a couple times. Animal's 300 pounds. To stand him straight up on that top turnbuckle and those guys both take that big bump, it was pretty damn spectacular. And it was fresh, it was new, it was a totally different look from Lex. It was a totally different performance standard. You didn't have to cover for Barry for anything. Barry was right there for everything, and that's what made that grouping special.
Barry checked all the boxes as a horseman. It says
Yes.
that's the key there for him. Ole was the first, a founding member, brought you along. There's loyalty there and a thankfulness for what he did for you. And so that'll always be special. So I think it's safe to assume, kind of summarize it that way. But Barry then came along, and he was the one that was the first one really to check all the boxes when you say he worked every day, would go 45 minutes, and was just like one of the rest of you three.
I should have asked you the question, and you should have answered because you gave a much better answer.
No way,
me.
no way. I wanted to hear what you had to say. I was just kind of summarizing your thoughts, but it makes total sense to me now. Makes
That's
total
the way
sense.
I felt about it. It just was separate entities, which it was so different. That's what freshened us up at that point in time so much.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.